In today's episode of the Pathmark Presents podcast, I have a very interesting guest with me here today. I have the founder and director of Phase2, Elliot Sisman, with me. And, there is a lot of things that the folks are doing over there. We're going to be learning from Elliot how they are supporting salespeople in their mission to actually, just be more productive because there is a lot of tasks that salespeople are doing. And, even the team at Pathmark knows that are rather unproductive, right? And we're going to be learning how Elliot is supporting those teams in their growth strategies and how he has been growing the company. So, Elliot, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks, Lucas. Thanks for having me.
Very good. Yeah, maybe in your own words, give us a rundown. What is Phase2 all about?
So as you say, we're about helping salespeople become more efficient at what they do. And I think over the last couple of years that we've had the business, we've really focused in on LinkedIn actually as the main tool for our clients, and trying to help people ultimately start conversations in the best way possible. Too often we're finding that salespeople are operating too higher up the sales funnel and not spending enough time on those meaningful conversations with their with people who are potential customers. So that's really how we're helping them.
Very cool. Maybe could you tell us, like, how would an engagement typically look like? If I'm a sales leader right now, how does working with Phase2 look like?
Sure. So all of our clients are typically those people who have to build up trust with their prospects before their prospects will become clients. So very much not a transactional sale, but that kind of slightly longer term sales cycle. So the way we help people is, and I guess as many marketing agencies might do, is we say, well, who do you want to speak to? And what kind of messaging are you looking to put out there? Not necessarily, messages about features and benefits, but messaging that is going to highlight some of the skills and experience of that individual and of that company. And then we look for the types of people they want to speak with on LinkedIn, run the searches, filter people to get that as close a list as we can, and then spend time writing the messages, drafting them for approval, and then pushing them out to those prospects on behalf of our clients. So what the salesperson really sees is they have to deal with the inbound, the inbound message, whereby to rather than have to worry too much about all these other people that aren't interested, every day they're getting people drop into their inbox that says, yeah, can you tell me more, please? What I guess we would call a marketing qualified lead. And then it's over to them.
Very cool. I'm curious, right? Since you're obviously agency yourself and helping other companies to grow, we always like to ask at the Pathmark podcast sort of the flip side, like, what would be the typical journey somebody goes through in order to get started with Phase2? Like, what would be the acquisition channels you guys leverage?
Well, I think as you'd expect, we use LinkedIn ourselves, right? We'd be silly not to. We get an increasing number of referrals from clients and from contacts, but we're always looking for more. I don't want to sit here and say we've got the silver bullet to fix everything. The LinkedIn channels are working well, but we're all ambitious and want to do more. We've tried Facebook for marketing. That's had some challenges. We're looking at experimenting with email as direct outreach as well. And I think as things get back to more of a sense of normality, getting out there and meeting people. We're based in London, and there's plenty of people to meet here, but obviously we operate across the world. But yeah, the more people we can get in front of, the better. LinkedIn's our primary channel for our business at present.
Very cool. What perspectives do you have on the websites? We talk a lot about websites and website optimization in the podcast, but I would be curious, since you obviously leveraging outbound for your clients, what role do you attribute to the website?
I think the website is there as a the main thing is around, I think, credibility. So that when people do some research and they delve deeper, they may look you up on LinkedIn and then delve a bit deeper, and they want to make sure that what they see is is right for them. And one of the things that I talk about with clients when it comes to sales, and I always like to see websites reflect this. There's really only three things in sales. It's, to me, there's who you're speaking to, how can you help them, and why should they believe you? And I feel that websites, a really great website, fundamentally, from my perspective, needs to be showing these things off very clearly. Is this, it could be, doesn't have to be the whole website, it could be a landing page, but are you talking to me? What's the pain you can fix? And then why do I believe you? Which typically are things like case studies, testimonials, social proof, that kind of thing as well. So I think if a business gets that right, that really helps the salesperson do their job.
And where do you see the strength of the Phase 2 website at the moment? And on the flip side, where would you like it to be developing towards to?
You know, it's always the case when you run a business, you've got to try and find time to do your own, your own website and your own marketing. It always falls behind someone else's. I mean, our website is a very simple website that I think reflects one of our beliefs is that we need to be easy to buy from and easy to start with, and if they want to, easy to end. We don't want to tie people into long-term contracts. If it's working, great. I had a client call just before this, and at the end of the call, he was like, great, send me an invoice, let's get going, start on Monday, which was fantastic. And I think the website reflects that. It provides the information that we need to provide, the packages that we offer, and a way of reaching out and booking a time, plus lots of client testimonials and things like that. We're looking at adding, I think we can always do with more testimonials. It's not that people aren't happy with us, it's just we need to find time to ask that question, which is super important. And we're starting to add some more features around sort of useful tools and useful content. We put that on our LinkedIn page, but I think having them on the website as well will be a useful addition, certainly from an SEO perspective and things.
Very cool. I'm curious, right? Since you're an expert in the field of LinkedIn and outreach on LinkedIn, what would you say is the biggest challenge when it comes to innovation in, especially if you want to put it on LinkedIn outreach or in outreach just in general?
I think the biggest challenge at the moment is the volume, is just the amount of noise on these channels. A lot of people are seeing that there's a lot of salespeople out there who have found $10 automation tools that can then just connect message. And unfortunately for those people that are putting out something interesting, it gets lost amongst the noise. So I think that's, and I'm pretty, knowing my contacts over at LinkedIn, I'm comfortable they're taking steps to sort of sort that out as much as possible. So, LinkedIn is it's not a sales platform, it's a marketing platform. There's nothing wrong with selling. I'm a salesperson, I'm proud, but there is a time and a place. A client said to me, he said, you don't just walk into a bar and kiss the first girl you see. You need to go and chat them up a bit. So LinkedIn is not the place to chat up girls. Let me also make that clear. But marketing is when you're warming up that prospect and you're being interesting and talking to someone like a human being. Hey, here's something I thought you might find useful. Is it useful? Rather than yeah, hi, this is what I do. Here's the feature. Here's the benefit. Bang, do you want to call? And I think what we see, all of us, I'm sure, in business, we're just seeing this bang, 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 bang of messages from people that have taken no time that it's just not right for you. So I think the biggest challenge is trying to really trying to get above the noise. It's focusing in who do you want to speak with and what are some key messages. And if it means getting an expert involved, well, it's probably worthwhile. But that's certainly what I see at the moment.
Very cool. And what would you say is the biggest challenge when it comes to return on investment on those channels?
I think that a lot of the times it's going to be about attribution of the, if if you're advertising and talking to people across multiple channels, if you've messaged them on LinkedIn and you put a post up, if you've got a Facebook campaign as well, and then someone goes to your website and clicks the contact and asks to have a conversation, trying to attribute that to a particular investment and a particular activity is, to me, the biggest ROI challenge. It's fine with, cost per click advertising to an extent, but sometimes you just need to be present in various things, and you can't always say, here's my return from the content that I posted. However, it will be noticed, and it does help. So that's, to me, I think where measuring that is a real challenge.
Super interesting. I would love to switch gears a little bit, right? And talk a little bit about you personally and how you educate yourself, because there's so much content on outreach out there. There's templates, there is tons of blogs. Like, how do you filter and how do you educate yourself, and maybe which platforms do you go to learn?
I always get really excited when I see someone offering free LinkedIn templates, the best ones, the ones that resonate, or email templates. And I'm sure, and then you download or you subscribe to get them. They're very much tailored towards particular geography, typically the US market. Now, we have clients in the US and we do sell to the US, and those templates work well. But I think one of the things that's really important is to make sure that you have knowledge that every geography is different, whether it be the UK or Germany. And I'm not just talking about language, it's about style. A lot of what we do is, I read blogs, I read Twitter, you just try and catch up on what's happening. I think for me, a lot of it is trial and error on our own systems and talking to our clients. Every client has a different type of messaging that they want to do, different way of targeting people. We're doing, I think we must have sent out over 1 million invites now, and we know what good looks like, and we're always experimenting to see where if we tweak this and tweak that. So the biggest learning is from looking at the data from across our client portfolio to see which is working and which isn't working. Never being afraid to try new things out as well.
Very cool. Since we're slowly coming to an end of today's episode, I would love to jump into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
I guess so, yeah.
You have to, kind of.
You have to. Do I have a choice?
Very good. What's the last book that you read?
Oh, wow. I'm actually reading a very interesting book by a comedian called David Baddiel called Jews Don't Count, about anti-Semitism, which is a very serious book, but a very important topic. But I've always read business books, and you know what? They're always follow the same format and I get bored with them quickly. But I'm also thinking of writing a book about what we do and about sales and trying to make it an interesting one. So keep your eyes posted for that. Very
cool. Where could people learn more about that?
Let me write it first. follow me on LinkedIn. I'm sure, and I'll definitely be telling people there.
Very good. What's the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Right now, we're in a great growth phase. We've spent a lot of time making sure we know what we're doing, and making sure that we've sort of nailed our processes and our own templates, I guess, and our delivery. And I've got a great team. So right now we're ready. We're growing, and we're bringing on new clients all the time. So that's making sure we do that in a way that everyone gets a great service is probably the biggest focus.
Cool. If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would want to have fixed for the company today?
I'd love to do more automation, but do it correctly. One of the things, for example, is being able to really understand a message that comes back and understanding exactly what they're saying, and then having a really great reply. Because sentiment analysis doesn't work. I don't know about German, but in English, there's so many nuances. You got to have a human being. Nothing wrong with a human being, but it's still, when it's written, you want to get to a face-to-face, be it a Zoom or a meeting. Those are the best places. You show off your personality. If we could automate and get things more to that, we're going to get people even more efficient. And it may sound a bit dystopian, but that's one thing I'd love to crack.
Very cool. What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
For the company, you know, it's been a tough. I would say the start of the lockdown a year ago was pretty tough because we had a lot of clients panic, especially in the US. We found where they just shut off all marketing. That was a year ago. There was probably 2 weeks of clients saying we need to stop. But since then, we've been very fortunate. We've had loyal clients, and actually we've seen engagement rates and, you know, as you'd expect, people are conversing more online over the platforms we're working with, over LinkedIn. And so we've had thankfully a good year. But that was probably the last thing that really was a bit worrying, as I'm sure it was way worse for other businesses. But yeah, come through it.
Very cool. And the last question would be, if today would be your first day, right? You going out, starting phase 2, what would be the one advice that you would give yourself?
That's not a rapid fire question. I've got to think about that one.
Take your time. It's the last one.
You know, this isn't the first company I've launched, and I hope that I've done things the right way. You know, there's always mistakes. Don't beat yourself up over mistakes that you make on the way. Maybe spending a bit more time on our own messaging and marketing, as you know, because we'd always had the opportunity we want to do our clients' ones first. But you know, I've not been in a rush to kind of shoot for, you know, huge sort of 8-figure annual revenue. It's been a good 2 to 3 years of building it up, and I'm very happy with where we've been. So no regrets of any decisions, or everything's a learning.
Very cool. Elliot, I really appreciate that you took the time with us today to be a guest on Platform Presents. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed, what's the one thing they should remember about phase 2?
Well, I'd have to say it's our website, phase2sales.com, number 2 in the middle. And if you want to help start conversations with prospects, then head on over there.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Platform Presents.
Thanks, Lucas.